Hey, what's going on, everybody? I want to thank you for downloading the podcast today. I want to remind you to head on over to sitdownmarks.com and check out all that we got available for you there. And a reminder to hit that library that we got, close to almost 200 of episodes here. So make sure you check it out at sitdownmarks.com. And thanks again for listening to the pod.
Hey, yo. If I can be serious for a minute. Oh, yeah! Acknowledge me.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome. Come on in. Sit down to episode number 175 of the Sit Down Marks podcast. I want to thank you guys for listening and checking us out right now on all those podcast platforms and anybody watching right now on Facebook and YouTube at sitdownmarks.com. With me today, if you've been to a Chicagoland show, you've seen this guy shooting taking some pictures ringside. And now he's here. If not, now he's here to talk to me, and we want to talk about that, and also, how he's becoming famous as a, pretty good video editor here. So, and we're going to also talk about his promotion that he just started called Bloodstone Wrestling. So you might know him as Camera Guy Gimmick. We call him Camera Guy Nick. Nick, what's going on, buddy? Welcome to the podcast, brother.
Thanks for having me, DB. This might be the longest planned out podcast that I've ever had.
This is true, man, because we talked about this, I think, like earlier in 2025, and here we are at the end of 2025. But I put you on the bookings, so you're a busy man too. So I always like to give everybody substantial time to get ready for it, man. But thanks for being on the pod, man. I know you've been making your rounds at a couple different podcasts, talking about it, a couple different things. So thanks for stopping by, man. How's life?
Life is life. Life is life, and life is being life.
Yeah. So let's get into it, man. Camera Guy Gimmick. Did that name come from how, be like, oh yeah, go over there and talk to Nick. He's the camera guy. Has the camera, he's the camera guy taking the pictures. Is that how it all came about?
That's actually a good question. Nobody's ever asked me that before. To be honest with you, I just kind of came up with it because I thought it was funny.
Sure.
I don't know. I was looking for a new alias, I guess you can say, because I was using my previous I used to go by Dashy Media, like my tags on social media and whatnot. Yeah. And then I was trying to get into the wrestling vibe because I used to, do more concert photography and stuff. So I just thought Camera Guy Gimmick was funny, and then it just kind of stuck. So,
right. I mean, I'll be honest with you, man. I don't know that I knew your last name until I started prepping for this podcast. So, I was like, it's always Nick, Camera Guy Nick. So, so it's good to finally know your full name, man. Where you from originally, man? You from this area or somewhere else?
I'm from, technically, I grew up in Romeoville, Illinois, which is
okay.
Yeah, it's a little closer to Chicago, but not too much. It's still 45, 50 minutes from the city, but yeah.
Yeah. So is that where you went to high school, man? All that kind of stuff growing up? Yeah.
High school, middle school. Well, my mom moved around, but I stayed with my dad most of my childhood. So
gotcha.
I mainly stayed in Romeoville for my whole schooling experience, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about your schooling experience, man. This is always a point I like to talk about, people. Tell me what you were like in high school, because as we get older, right, we can be honest with ourselves. We can be like, yeah, I was a fucking nerd in school, or I was a jock in school, or I was an asshole, whatever. You know what I mean? So, So what was Nick like in high school?
And man, this is already a really good podcast. Nobody's asked me either of these questions.
I did my homework, man. I listened to all the ones you've been on.
God, honestly, I would say in high school I was a typical burnout. But for sure, before I graduated, I was already a typical burnout. But when I got into high school, that's when I started. I think I started smoking weed my freshman year, or maybe it might have been my sophomore year. So, yeah, like once I started smoking weed, everything just kind of like, it's not because I was smoking weed, but
Sure.
it just enhanced my feelings already. And I'm like, well, fuck this. By the time I got to being a sophomore, I almost didn't graduate because I had missed so many days.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I was like, before that, I would say I was kind of like, I feel like I tried to fit in with like my friends.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of my friends didn't like listen to like the same music that I listened to and stuff like that. But they kind of like dressed completely different and stuff. So I don't know. I kind of try to fit in with my friend group, but once I got to high school, I kind of figured it all out, and I was just like ready to be done with school because
Sure.
I just don't like. I'm not a big fan of people. I'm not a people.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So I didn't have my first joint till I was probably like 18. I want to think like I was like senior year high school at a party, you know what I mean? And like I kind of like sporadically, I mean, we're going to talk about cannabis because we're both big lovers and enthusiasts, advocates, whatever you want to call it, if you will. Don't call us fucking potheads. But anyway.
No.
But so my journey started like a little bit later. Like I didn't really get into it to like mid-20s or whatever. But anyway, we'll get back to that. But so you're a ringside photographer, man. Were you a wrestling fan first? You know, any of that stuff growing up?
Oh yeah, I've been a fan for as long as I can remember. Like my first memories were some of my first memories, I should say, are like sitting on the couch with my dad, and he would have it on TV for whatever reason. I don't know, because he's not a fan and he never was.
Yeah.
But this was like 96, 97, because he was like a big Bulls fan too. So I don't know, like we'd watch a lot of like basketball and then wrestling.
Sure.
I think he just realized that I liked wrestling, and I don't know, like it just ever since then, it just was something that I was always interested in.
Yeah. I was trying to think the other day. I think I met you, Nick. It was like 2021, Bourbon Street. We were there for a show. I introduced to you through a friend. I always kind of said hey or whatever, you know. But like I'd always kind of seen you working a bunch of shows, you know, around Chicagoland area. You know, so I'm watching you take pictures and stuff, and you know, you kind of got some crazy angles, like where you take pictures and stuff like that. Like I think my favorite pics that you take are kind of ones where you put the camera on the floor and it kind of shoots up. You know, I've seen you like, you know, do that a lot, you know, but like before wrestling, you know, like tell me like what got you into, you know, photography. Did somebody buy you a camera for Christmas and you took a picture and you're like, oh, this is awesome? Or is this something that like developed later on in life?
I like to joke around, and there was this game that was for the Nintendo 64, and it was called Pokemon Snap. And it was like a game where you just took pictures of like Pokemon. For whatever reason, it was like a photography game. That's not really why I got into it, but I like to tell people that that's why. No, I actually I had met somebody that like was doing music videos for, you know, just like people that like artists in the city and whatnot. And I've always been very like computer savvy, so
Sure.
I told myself, I'm like, okay, well, I can do that. Like I just got to teach myself how to do it.
Yeah.
So I bought a camera and I just kind of taught myself like how to shoot. So I started shooting, like when I first bought a camera, I was doing videos, and then I felt like it was, well, my computer at the time wasn't it up to speed, you know,
Sure,
like
yeah.
it could barely run
Right.
Premiere Pro, so I just gave up on that and I started taking pictures. So that's when it finally clicked for me.
Yeah.
And it was like about 6 months into like trying to do videos. Yeah.
Have you since like got a little more enthralled with like a certain photographer? You know what I mean? Like, you know, is there any kind of influences? You know, any famous photographers that you're like, that guy does good work, or girl, whatever?
When I first started, I honestly really was More so inspired by, like, I grew up watching a lot of CKY and Jackass and stuff like that. So when I first started, because my parents had digital cameras, and like my mom had like camcorders with floppy disks and all that stuff when I was younger, and I would always like shoot with it and take pictures and videos and stuff of my friends, but obviously like that was just when I was a kid. So I don't know, it's really kind of like I don't know, man, like when you finally like feel like something clicks, and you kind of like give yourself like an opportunity to like immerse yourself in it. It's kind of hard to like explain.
You were kind of like, yeah, this is where I'm supposed to be, kind of deal.
Yeah,
right?
because like, and don't get me wrong, like certain people like Michael Watson, like once I got involved in like wrestling more, and I learned who people were, like Brainbuster, that's Michael Watson, and like I think Second Gunny is one of his is one of the people. He's a photographer based out of New York. I started getting influenced by those people because I seen how they shot, but beforehand I was just kind of going up off my instincts, like what I thought looked good. And once it all clicked with me, that's when I feel like I finally kind of understood like how wrestling photography worked, or media worked in general. But it took me a long time.
Sure. Yeah, and you're kind of reaping the benefits of all that that you put into it now. So your first wrestling gig was at Warrior Wrestling, you've talked about before. What did you learn at that show, man? I mean, I heard you talk about on podcast that, you just went in like, hey, you guys need a photographer. They're like, yeah. And boom, you got a job. What was it like that first show?
The first show, it was more surreal than anything. I just didn't expect it to be, I don't know. I just didn't know what to expect, really, to be honest with you. So I learned a lot just because I didn't know anything at all. When it came to actually working around the ring, like I didn't know anything. So I learned a lot, but I more so learned the most important thing that you can possibly learn, and that's where hard cam is.
Yes.
so that's what I really learned my first day on the job.
Yeah. So, and how long ago was that? How long have you been doing it now?
I think that was
the COVID era.
I think it was before. If it had, it was like 2019. I think or 2020. It was something like that. I don't. When did AEW started in like 20? Was it 2019?
It was 19. Yeah.
It was the weekend of All Out, like the first All Out.
Okay.
When Jericho won the world title. Yeah. Nice. So whenever that was, I think it was 2019. I could be wrong, but
I think you're right, because I think AEW started in that. So, you got any advice for anybody that's wanting to get a photo shooting job in wrestling? I mean, I know jobs probably don't come as easy as you got yours that day, but any advice for anybody?
Definitely like go to if you're trying to go get like ringside, I would just definitely take your camera to to all the shows that you go to and just take pictures from the crowd so you get a feel. But also like knowing the wrestlers that you're working with is pretty it can be pretty important, and that's something that like aspiring ringside photographers or videographers can study, is just by watching the actual matches instead of worrying about getting the shot, if that makes sense. Because when you start working with somebody so much, or you have an idea what's maybe going to be set up, or
what's coming next.
Right. So you know where to like position yourself to get a good angle, or like the best angle that you can possibly get or want to get. So that's pretty, that I feel like that's kind of important too.
I mean, you worked for, basically all the Chicagoland area promotions. I see you at Dreamwave. I've seen you at AEW. You're doing Ego Pro now. So, but tell me though, what's the craziest thing you've ever seen ringside? Like, what's that one thing that always sticks out in your mind? Like, oh, that was wild that night. I saw this. It might be something funny. It might be like a chick that showed you your tits or something. You know what I mean? Like, who knows?
I'm trying to think, because honestly,
Or maybe I should ask if you've ever got caught up in a move, outside. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, a couple of times. I mean, more than a couple times. It happens to everybody, just because it's unpredictable. Like, you never know. You know what I mean? And especially, people shoot differently. Like, I kind of like, well, now it's different because I do videos, but even before, when I was taking pictures, I kind of like to go around the ring so I can get different angles, because in my opinion, if you like stay on the corner or in one spot, the photos start to look the same and they kind of look stale. But like, that's just how some people shoot. Like, for example, when I work New Japan, like that's what I have to do, because that's how it is. Like, that's just protocol. But at the same time, they also will tell you, like, don't worry about getting on hard cam, like, if you have to get the shot, because they care about like the magazines and all that stuff, in Japan. So every place is different, but like, I personally like to kind of go around the ring. So you're going to get caught up in a move when you're doing that, for sure.
Yeah. You got any like do's and don'ts of shooting ringside that if anybody's a photographer that's listening to this, something you definitely shouldn't do? Obviously, you need to know where the hard cam is. We talked about that, but and try to stay the hell out of the way, get the best shots you can. But any inside stuff that maybe I wouldn't think about.
I think the most important thing is to like treat everybody equally. So, for example, let's say like you're working an indie show that's maybe bringing in like a top talent or somebody that's on TV, and all of a sudden you want to try to run in front on hard cam, or like get really close to hard cam, or get close to roaming cam when they're trying to, walk back and forth along the ring and get the shot for streaming or whatever.
Yeah.
That's just kind of like a no-no for like newer photographers, I would say, just because everybody tends to like linger around the ring the whole match.
Right.
Which is fine, but when you have like multiple photographers, it's really not necessary to, that's a whole other conversation. But
True.
But yeah, I mean, for the most part, that's I don't know.
You got like a favorite venue? You're like, hell yeah, I'm shooting here tonight, and the lighting is great there. Any of that kind of stuff. Like, any that you prefer.
Honestly, like Logan Square is pretty rad because the lighting in there is always really. It's always different, but it's always amazing at the same time. I'm trying to think of another place. Talia Hall is a really nice place to shoot at in Chicago too. Anything that's kind of like shadowy with lights and even like Dreamwave or at the Knights of Columbus or Berwyn Eagles Club. If you're just at the right angle with the right lighting, everything looks good. But I think Logan Square is probably like my favorite place to shoot at. The parking just sucks over there. That's the only thing. Oh, you know what? Bourbon Street was really nice too because like the lighting was really nice in there.
Yeah.
So I always like shooting there too because everything always looked really good.
Brandon Borey chiming in from Facebook, man. It sounds like you got a pretty good clip of him eating worms from the Boogeyman back in October at that show. So, and sometimes you got to ad lib and get stuff from that's going on in in the crowd from the fans, that kind of stuff, interaction. So that's a little extra thing to worry about when you're doing photography, I guess, huh?
Yeah, that was gross. He ate a lot of worms.
Sure it is. Shout out to you, Brandon. Thanks for checking us out, man.
Brandon. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Fearless.
You got any other ventures or hobbies outside of photography? You know, are you for hire? Do you do any weddings, that kind of shit? Like,
yeah, I do. I've done weddings and all that stuff. I mean, I'll really do whatever, honestly. Like, I've done birthday parties and
yeah,
literally like bar mitzvahs. I've done a lot of stuff, so I'll do anything, honestly.
sure. So, you know, outside of wrestling, outside of, you know, anything else, is there like anything else you think's pretty cool to take pictures of, like, you know, nature or, you know, whatever, any of that kind of shit?
Not me personally. Like,
sure.
I don't know. I can find enjoyment out of other people's photography. Like, I think like car photography is pretty cool, like old school cars and like just like stuff from like this that looks vintage, like Proctor or Degeneration Flex, or his name's Nate. He's actually my partner at Bloodstone, but they both do like kind of like vintage style photos, and I appreciate stuff like that for sure, because it's different than like stuff I do, so it's like a nice change of pace. All
right, man. Well, I'm gonna gas you up here a little bit, man. So you're known around for, you know, taking pictures, but to me, what I think might be your strongest asset, dude, is I look so forward to these highlight videos and recaps of shows that you have. Like, you know, when Dreamwave has a show, I know, you know, later on the next week, you know, you're going to drop an awesome, badass recap video. And when it comes to that stuff, man, you know, I've told you online, I'll tell you now again, I feel like you're in a league of your own, man. You're like one of one when it comes to that stuff. And when I'm watching those videos, I'm like, man, if I hadn't watched the show and known what was going on, these recap videos would make me want to go do that. You know, and that's the part that, you know, kind of that kind of gets me pumped about it. But when it comes to that kind of stuff, man, like I said, you're one of one, man. Like, you enjoy doing that kind of stuff? Is it cool to kind of, you know, recap a show, put it to music, and put it out there for the fans?
Thank you. I appreciate that, man.
Of course.
Yeah, no, I do enjoy it. It's fun for me, and I think it's just kind of like the direction where social media is going in general. Like, everything's kind of turning to media and video and reels, and not so much like posts anymore, like photography. I don't know, and it was just kind of a natural transition for me to start doing that, because nobody in Chicago is doing it, and there are other people that do it in the wrestling space, but it's just there's only like a few people that really do it like consistently.
Sure.
At least that I'm aware of. And I don't know, like when I first started doing the videos, I was just kind of feeling it out, and then as I started doing it more and more, I kind of got the flow of it. I like to try to pace the video, so if you didn't watch the show and you watched the video, you might even like kind of pick up what happened, because I try to spend like the first minute and a half, depending on how long the song is.
Mm-hmm.
I try to spend like the first minute and a half, like 2 minutes of just like moves, right? They're like cool shit.
Yeah.
And then that last, you know, like that last bit of the song is when I will use the endings of the matches, and I try to do it in order too. So like it'll, you know, show like a spot, set up for a finish, show the winner. Next match, do the same thing. So like I said, even if somebody doesn't have time to watch the show or whatever, or like you said, they watch the video and then like, damn, I gotta watch the show now and see how this happened. I gotta watch the whole match like that, you know, they look badass. So I just try to do it differently, like my own way, that, you know, different than how other people do it.
Yeah, man, it's awesome. Don't change. Love it. Like, it's Like, if, you know, I mean, I work for Dreamwave. I just feel like it does so much for our product, man. Like, it just always makes it look so good, you know, and like you want to watch those videos, whether you watch the show, you know, or not, and, you know, it makes you want to watch the show. So thank you for that, man. And, you know, thank you for making the wrestlers and all of us and the production, and everything, you know, look good. So it means a lot more than I think you kind of realize it does. But so let's flip the script, man. So, you know, you've worked with a bunch of promoters, you worked with, you know, wrestlers and all this kind of, you see what goes through on what happens on a show day and that kind of stuff. Why would you want to have your own wrestling company?
All right, here we go. No. Well, honestly, like I just thought about doing a show for a long time. Something that I had like brought up to multiple people just to like throw it out there and like get an idea.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I didn't want to just think I was crazy. Maybe if somebody else told me I was crazy, like I would think twice about it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Every time I threw it out there, someone was like, "Oh yeah, that'd be cool. But I don't think anybody really thought I'd ever do it.
Right.
So
I feel like I remember you mentioned it like years ago, you know what I mean, or something like. I feel like you know there was a mention of something there. So all right, so let's talk about your promotion, man. Bloodstone Wrestling. Cool logo here. We got some chains going on. We got some barbed wire going on. If I'm looking at this, you know, just for the first time, I'm thinking, oh, this might be a deathmatch company. You know what I mean? Like it might come off a little bit, you know, like that. But tell me how you come up with the name. You know, it's a cool logo. How'd you come up with it?
So I was listening to Alice in Chains, Bleed the Freak, and they in the song, like one of the first lines in the song, like Lane Staley says, like blood from a stone. And I don't know, I just thought that sounded cool, and I was like, oh, you know what? It's like that could be it. So
sure.
I don't know. It's kind of where like the chains came from too.
Yeah.
So, yeah, honestly. And I definitely get the deathmatch vibe.
Sure.
Although that is a vibe I want to give off, just not necessarily a deathmatch vibe. Just there probably will most likely be like definitely some kind of hardcore match.
Sure.
Something like that every show. Planning on doing something like that, anyways.
Yeah. It's a cool name, man. I love anything inspired from the 90s. You know, all my favorite bands are from the 90s, you know, so so you just had your first show, man. Uncut Gems was on October the 10th, 2025. How did it go, man? What did you learn? You know, that kind of stuff. First show, you know, jitters. It sounds like you guys knocked it out of the park. Yeah, tell me about it, man. Just, you know, tell me about the day. You know, you had, you know, a TNA legend, Hernandez, on the card. Dr. Redacted was on the card. Speaking of death matches, you know, you had, you know, a lot of people from the Chicago area. But yeah, tell me about it, man. Like, I know it had to be kind of cool to be like, yeah, my first show, first day.
Yeah, no, it was cool. Well, it did go very well. I didn't necessarily expect like anything crazy, but it definitely went a lot better than I had anticipated it would have went. Not that, like I said, I was anticipating it to go bad, but
sure.
Yeah, no, we had a great show. I mean, everybody that was on the card like showed out and had absolutely like great matches. Hernandez beat the shit out of Coda. That was great. Dr. Redacted made Chico bleed. He put a gusset in his arm. Chico put a gusset in Redacted's head. It was just such a great night. And the most importantly, everybody had fun. Like, everybody had fun. All the boys and girls that worked the show had fun. The crowd was amazing. I mean, they were so hot. Like they were hot for everything. It was just it was amazing.
That's
And
awesome.
yeah, there, you know, as you can see, we just had a crazy list of people for the show.
Yeah. I mean, this is a smorgasbord of talent here. I mean, you had Laney versus Brittany. You know, anybody that watches indie wrestling is going to watch that match. You had Santana Jackson on the card against Becca. You know, very familiar with her. She's a Dreamwave Women's champion now. Yeah, and I heard a lot of good feedback about this show, man. Everybody I knew there that went to the show, you know, said they had a blast. And so you can actually go and watch this show for free on YouTube at is it at Bloodstone Wrestling, correct?
Yeah, I believe it should be. Yeah.
Yeah. Last time I checked, you had about 2,500 views already, man. So that's a good little kickstart there. I mean, you see Hernandez on the front of the poster. That's got to make you want to check it out right there, right off the bat.
Yeah, no, for sure. And Hernandez was super cool. He was more than chill. Actually, like here's some inside info. I got to the venue around like 12:30 with like Bobby Orlando. Me and him had got to the venue, and for those that don't know, there's a Harold's Chicken like inside the Bourbon Eagles Club, and there's one like it's the same Harold's Chicken, but it's also in the bar/car wash that is next door
to
the Eagles Club. So we went in there to eat, and I didn't even know, but Hernandez was in there the whole time, like drinking a Pepsi. And,
right.
And he had walked outside and, you know, like had walked over by the back of the Eagles Club. And again, I didn't know that it was him. And then Brittany Brooks had texted me. She's like, "Oh, I'm here." So I walked over there to let them know that the door wasn't open yet. And as I'm walking over there, I see Hernandez just standing there. And I'm like, "Oh, what's up, man? Like, how you doing?" Shake his hand. And I'm like, "How long have you been here?" And he's like an hour and a half. I'm like, "What? Like, what do you mean like an hour and a half?" He's like, "Yeah, someone just dropped me off and like left." I'm like, "What? Like, what are you talking about?" Like, what the hell? So that was the whole thing. But he was super cool. Like, he didn't care. Like I said, he went and ate food and he was chill.
Sure. Oh, that's awesome. Was that like a dream opponent for Coda?
Yeah, kind of. He had already wrestled Homicide, and he had already wrestled what's slipping my Santana. Like,
sure.
Who obviously these are like different generations of LAX.
Yeah.
But he wants to complete, you know, he wants to complete the cycle.
Sure.
So, yeah, it was a dream opponent for him. And I think Hernandez I don't know how long he's been like taking independent like bookings. I don't know if he just started taking them again recently, because I think he does more so training at I think he has a school that he trains at or whatever. But it was perfect timing because I seen that he was booked at SVN, which is a deathmatch company. I was like, "Oh, really?" I'm like, so he gets down like that. So it kind of got my mind going. And yeah.
Sure. Yeah, I don't know that I've seen him on too many indie shows lately, so maybe he's just now getting back on the scene. You guys ran the Berwyn Eagles Club, the legendary, world famous, as they say, in Chicago. You plan to run most of your shows there for now?
Right now we just planned our next show, which is February 6th of 2026. That's going to be at the Berwyn Eagles Club. But I mean, I've shopped around at some other venues. It's just we're not planning on running every month or anything like that. Like,
sure,
you know, I think that's going to kind of be some of the appeal for what we're trying to do, is that it's going to be every so often, and then when we have it, it's going to be like a big party. Like, you know, like I said, everybody had fun, so everybody kind of knows what to expect now or has an idea.
Yeah. Always good to get that first show under, out of the way and kind of present yourself.
So I mean, it depends. It depends really, but right now, yeah, I mean, the Eagles Club, it's decent. Like, there's free parking, you know what I mean, and like, parking's not that bad compared to like some venues in Chicago.
Right.
There is a lot of options there for food, and like the drinks are cheap. So I don't know, like, it's not a bad place. First, it might get a bad rap sometimes, but.
Yeah, so you're running your next show on February the 6th. Going to be back at the Berwyn Eagles Club. You're a big My Chemical Romance fan, so this one's going to be called The Broken, The Beaten, and The Damned, which is an MCR lyric from the song The Black Parade. Tickets on sale now. Where to buy? Where can you get that kind of stuff?
Next Friday, tickets are going to go on sale.
It's like the 20th.
Yeah, and then they'll be, if you don't follow yet, it's at Bloodstone Wrestling on all social media, except for I think X, because you can't have that long of a username. I think it's Bloodstone Russ. But anyway, there'll be more information on like where to get the tickets and whatnot there. But next Friday is the day they're going on pre-sale. Yes.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. Well, let's talk about everything outside of there, man. What do you do in your free time, man? There's a nasty rumor going around that, you like to gamble. I know you hang out with some big time gamblers, hitting the casinos, all that kind of stuff. But, yeah, what do you do in your free time, man? When you just got time to chill, when you're not editing, taking pictures or booking, that kind of stuff.
Who told you that? No, I was kidding. I'm just kidding. You know what? I do kind of I like to play craps. Okay. Craps is fun. I like to play craps. I do blame Ego for that. That is his fault. But it's okay because I bought a new washer and dryer with the money that I won from.
Hell
craps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how you do it. You win, you stop, you buy appliances.
Exactly. Yeah, dude. At one point, I was up like 3,500. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna buy that. I bought a new couch, and then yeah, that was cool. But other than that, really, I don't know. I don't do much. Like, I do a lot of skating.
Okay.
I'll like roller skate.
Okay.
Skateboard. I try to keep myself busy. I don't really game that much. Sometimes I'll play games, but I'm not like a gamer. It's not that serious,
Yeah. All right. Couple questions here, man, before we head on out here pretty soon. I want to ask you a couple questions so we can kind of get to know you better. So, what's your favorite casino? Where's or maybe the one you win the most money at? But which one you like to go to?
Well, I go to the one in Aurora. Just because it's closest to my house, but I've only been to I think 4 or 5. Actually, I take that back because I went to Vegas, so I forgot about that. I guess my favorite casino is I don't know. The Sahara was pretty cool when I stayed there. The casino there was pretty cool, but I won all my money at Aurora, so that's like I'm biased towards that one.
Right. I know you're a big music fan, just like I am. Who's your favorite band ever, and what is your favorite concert that you've ever been to?
My favorite band ever. That's a pretty hard question.
Give me 2.
If 2,
give me 3.
All right, let me give you 3. All right. So definitely Alice in Chains.
Yeah.
My Chemical Romance, and then I'm a big Him fan. Him. It's a Finnish band. I don't know if you they were popular in the
and she'll be right here in my
there you go.
So love. Yeah, I know that, dude. Come on, man. I'm old, dude. That's awesome. Do you have let me tell you this, man. If you're a grunge guy, if you ever go out to Seattle, man, you got like a half a day to kill. There's this guy, his name is Eric. I can't think of his last name, but he runs this Seattle grunge tour. And like they take you around the city. They'll show you like where the hotel used to be that Lane Staley killed himself in. They'll take you around all the spots that they played at. They'll tell you, all this kind of stuff. If you're any kind of a grunge fan, it's awesome. I can't recommend it enough, man. It's awesome.
Oh yeah, that sounds
awesome. You gotta do that. Do you have a favorite wrestler right now?
Ooh, right now. Oh, I am a big fan of. Oh man, that's a hard one. That might be harder than the band one, dude. I'm trying to think of somebody right now, like an
sure, yeah.
I'm gonna go with. I'm a really big fan of Becca. I just think like her whole like character. I think she's hilarious. Sure. And she's a great worker. Like she really puts her ass. I'm a big fan of Megan Bain too. I think Megan Bain is great. She's one of the. Oh, here's another one, Maggie Lee. I know these are all women, but
sure.
Let's go off on it with a bang.
Right? Yeah. I mean, those top three should be on anybody's list right now, man. You know?
They're all phenomenal. Phenomenal.
Looks like Primo from the Pod is on. He said "Wings of a Butterfly." That was the name of that song, wasn't it? The one I was singing, or is that a different one? That's a different one, I think. All right. So what do you like to eat, man? So like, you going out for dinner. What's like the first choice? You like Italian, Mexican, American food? Like, what do you like to eat the most?
Just give me fried chicken. I don't even care where it's from, to be honest with you. Like, it doesn't
just
even
fried
matter.
Chicken, yeah.
Yeah, like whether it's like buffalo wings or like a chicken sandwich or something.
Sure. Sounds like a Southern boy answer, man.
Yeah. I'm a simple guy. Like
sure. Yeah. Do you have like a favorite picture that you've taken? Now, I have a favorite picture that you've taken. You took a picture of me at a show. I think it was last year, about this time, I think, and it is hugely framed up on my wall now. But is there a pic that you took? You're like, man, I really knocked that one out of the park, or that one's really cool, or?
Yeah, there's a couple. I guess one of my favorite pictures I ever taken was I was working New Japan in Tennessee during the Ric Flair's last match. I think it was that weekend. Yeah, because like was the roast of Ric Flair the same weekend as like his last match?
I think it was. I think it was the day before. Yeah.
Yeah. So So I was working. New Japan had a show there, and it was Moxley versus Desperado, and Moxley's like choking him out, and there's like roses kind of like scattered around on the mat, and Desperado's like eyes are rolled in the back of his head, and he just has his middle fingers up. Yeah, that was probably one of my best pictures. Yeah, that was really dope. That was really
nice. Cool. That's cool. All right, man. Before we get out of here, man, let's talk a little cannabis, a little marijuana. So we kind of briefly talked about it earlier, man. So like, I've always been a big cannabis advocate. I was a very happy man when Illinois went legal. So, just to have, be able to have so many different strains and, and types of weed, at your fingertips. Now, I got kids that are 12 and 8 years old, and over the last probably 6 months, they started telling me, Daddy, you smell like the garage, you know what I mean? So I had to sidestep, and I've since started my edible journey. I've always been a smoker, since taking edibles. Now, like, I've kind of really gotten into edibles, and I like them a lot. I like, it's a different buzz. I'll be honest with you. I hated it at first. I was like, I'm not like this. It's not as good. Doesn't feel as good. You know what I mean? That kind of stuff. So, I'm a big guy of thinking that, cannabis has healing properties. My mom has issues. She smokes, takes edibles, and it's taking care of some of, it's taking care of some of her ailments and stuff. But yeah, so you were, I mean, I started figuring things out between like 15 to 18, but you were like, you started smoking pretty young. Like you were exposed to it pretty young, right?
So I was actually exposed to it pretty young. Yeah, like I was maybe in elementary school, like when I very first like seen it or like smelled it, definitely.
Sure.
But I didn't start smoking until I was like, I think like 16. I think I was like 16. Yeah,
okay.
16 or I think I was, or maybe 15. I was either 15 or 16. Yeah.
I had a realization moment. So I went to a party when I was like, I swear I was like 16, probably or 17. I went to a party and, you know, you walk into a house party, you know, there's all kind of people around. And I walked into this certain room and I got this whiff, you know, and I smelled something and I go, man, that smells familiar. You know, I'm like, what is that smell? Right. And then, so I remember going home that night after the party. Right. And my mom's like bedroom doors open. And it clicked. I was like, that's what my mom's bedroom smells like, dude. You know what I mean? My mom's an old hippie back from, you know, 60s and 70s, right? You know what I mean? And my mom was always like one of those, you know, don't try anything out there on the streets. You know, your friends give you, you know, whatever you think that, you know, if you want to try something, come talk to me about it first, you know. So I was 17 going to a party. I was like, hey, Mom, I was like, going to a party tonight. We rolled me up a couple joints. So, you know, she's like, yeah, you know, so she, you know, rolled me up a couple joints and I go to the party and instantly I'm the coolest kid on the block. Right. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? And then, so after that, man, like, I started educating myself on it, you know, especially when I got older, you know, especially now when there's 10,000 strains, you know, sativa, hybrid, you know, and I've kind of felt like I have like a renewed, I probably shouldn't say it, but I mean, a renewed love for it since like switching over to edibles because, you know, it's like a new world. I'm trying different things, you know, and, you know, I used to be like, oh, whatever, you know, I'll smoke, you know, as long as it gets me high, whatever. But now I'm like starting to get a little more strain specific, you know, I'd be like, oh, I'm going to be doing a lot of work today, you know, around the house. So, you know, I'm going to, you know, eat some sativa and then, you know, I'm not, you know, haven't been sleeping very good. So tonight I'm going to take some, you know, some gummies with some CBN in them and stuff, made me sleep good, you know, that kind of stuff. So I'm appreciating it a little more like on a different scale. Do you have like a preference, man? Do you even look into it that much, you know, or, you know, you have like a, you know, specific strain or something like, you know, whatever.
You know what? To be honest with you, I don't really like look into it that much. Like I don't really.
Weed is weed.
What it is, as long as it's THC,
sure,
we're good.
Yeah. Now, you know, and I know, like, you know, and I've since become a snob. You know what I mean? Like, you know, I got to look at the weed first before I smoke it. You know what I mean? Because, you know, I don't smoke any trash. You know, my mom, you know, she still gets like brick weed, you know, and I'm like, what the fuck? Is that still around?
Where can you even find that at?
It's still in the hills of North Carolina, dude. I promise you. But, you know, so, but yeah, so, I've had a little adjustment, you know, there was about a month there where, you know, I wasn't happy about switching over to the edibles, but now, you know, it's a little better and, you know, life is a little different when it comes to cannabis, but
I feel like I feel like edibles don't do anything to me. I don't know if it's just because I've smoked for so long that, I like don't really give myself a break. So when I do eat them, I feel like it's like, oh, what the hell? Like I'm just waiting forever. And like you said, it's not the same high, so it's kind of like it throws you off.
Yeah, it does throw you off. I think so everybody's like, oh, you know, start, you know, say start low and slow, low dose, you know, that kind of stuff. And I'm like, man, I've been smoking, you know, for a long time, right? So like I would start out small and then I'm like, yeah, none of this shit's working. It's not any good. And one day, like I'm not gonna say how many milligrams I ate, but I ate a pretty nice amount of milligrams. I'm like, oh, okay, all right. I mean, okay, we're back, baby. You know what I mean? Like I'm like, okay, now like I've found my sweet spot of milligrams, you know, of, what I need to take to feel a buzz. And I know that I can eat a little more if I want a harder buzz, or eat a little less if I want a little more mellow buzz. So I've, kind of like figured it out that way. Cause I mean, I was a glass bong guy forever. I still have my bong, you know what I mean? But like, I went back, I haven't smoked and probably, it's probably about 6 months now. And about 2 weeks ago, man, I went and bought some edibles. And they give you a free joint, when you go in dispensaries, I'm like, oh yeah, it's Thursday, whatever, free joint. So they gave them to me, and I went home and smoked it, and and I went home, I smoked it, got a like really good buzz, and I was like, oh yeah, it's kind of cool. But like later on that night, boy, the like indigestion set in, and I was just like, oh, like it created like all this like acid in my body because I haven't
really
smoked in so long. I felt like, and so like it was a long night of me like coughing and shit a lot, and I was like, all right, maybe I'll just go back to the edibles, and that kind of stuff. But but see, that only happens smoking. Like I've hit like a vape pen just fine, you know what I mean? Like whatever. Like I still have one of those around for emergencies, I guess, you know what I mean? But, so.
Well, those don't really smell that bad either. I mean,
they don't. And, I can usually get away with nobody smelling that on me, except for my wife. I mean, but I've been with her over 20 years, so she knows me like the back of my hand. So, she knows what I'm doing if I'm staying gone for a minute, or, that kind of stuff. But yeah, I was, honestly, like, I was happy to have you on the pod too, so I could talk a little weed with you. Because a lot of times, like, we have people on pod, like something I don't really talk about, with wrestlers. So, yeah. So thank you for helping me to get that out.
Oh yeah, of course, man.
All right, Nick, let's go home, brother. You got any socials you want to plug? Any of that kind of stuff?
Sure. Yeah. You can follow Bloodstone Wrestling on all socials at Bloodstone Wrestling. Or you can follow me at Camera Guy Gimmick on all socials. You can watch Bloodstone's first show, Uncut Gems, on YouTube.
Yes, go check it out, people.
Free. Free. Yeah, I think that's everything.
Yeah. Let me, and go back to that. Uncut Gems was the very first show. The next show, reminder, is February the 6th. Make sure you come check out. Nick, I've got to ask you, man, watching the show, man, it looks like did you sell out that night?
Yeah, almost.
Yeah.
I think I don't want to say we sold out, but if we didn't, it was like very, very close, because by the end, it was squeezed. Yeah, for sure.
Oh, that's fucking cool, man. Yeah, that's got to be a good feeling to have a packed house in your first show.
Yeah, so. We ended up having a really. There was at least like 250 people in there for sure. Yeah, so it was good. It was a good time.
That's dope. Good to hear. I'm always happy to see new promotions run by the right people. Gives independent wrestlers another place to work. That kind of stuff, especially in the Chicagoland. So thank you for all you do, brother. Thank you for making Dreamwave and all these other promotions look really good with your recap videos and your pictures. And hey, we just appreciate you being a loyal soldier to independent wrestling, man. So thanks for everything that you do, man.
Thanks for having me on, DB, and thank you for the kind words. I appreciate it, man. I just
absolutely
try to contribute the little amount of content I can contribute. Is if it goes a long way to help somebody else, it's all worth it.
Yeah, man, that's what it's all about in independent wrestling, man, helping everybody get to the next level. So thank you for what you do, sir. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching on YouTube and Facebook today and listening on all those podcast platforms out there. I am the Dirty Bird. We'll be back next week with another flagship podcast. For myself and camera guy Nick, keep spreading the good word of wrestling, people. Get to Bloodstone Wrestling. We'll see you soon.